Morning. Hopefully the sound quality isn't too bad. Here for the Arsenal review today. Obviously we're a few days late. Wednesday morning, 7:20 down here in Cornwall. Hope it's going to be a bit better weather today, because the majority of yesterday it fucking hammered down. But there we go. So Sunday, Newcastle hosted the late league leaders. Bit of a tongue twister. The late league leaders, Arsenal, who've obviously been knocked off their perch recently by Manchester City, but the premier team in the division for the vast majority of the season, they've been at the top of the tree, and well deservedly so. They've had a bit of a wobble recently. Let's just straighten up here a minute. There we go. They've had a bit of a wobble recently. They obviously drew at Anfield, drew at West Ham. I think it was away at West Ham, yeah, which I believe they were 2-0 up in. I think they were 2-0 up against Liverpool as well. But Anfield is such a, I don't know what the right word is, such an anomaly of a stadium that weird things happen at Anfield. Strange, out of form moments. I mean, if you look at Liverpool's 2004-2005 Champions League campaign, which they ended up winning in Istanbul, of course, but those strange games at Anfield, you know, you think of the Olympiacos comeback, on aggregate comeback, the Chelsea game, the ghost goal, etc. It just has such an effect. They then were 2-0 up against West Ham, let that slip to 2-2. Then they lost, they drew 3-3 at home to Southampton, again being 2-0 up. So in fairness to Arsenal, that in this period, this sticky period, they're showing powers of recovery, but also it's the worst time for them to hit a bad patch, because Man City have gone on this roll. I think they've won 15 of the last 16 games, or it might be 16 out of 17 now, and they just look pretty much unstoppable. Haaland is scoring, Gundogan is scoring, De Bruyne looks at his imperious best, Jack Grealish is playing well, that Julian Alvarez they got is unbelievable. They look odds on for 3 trophies this season, I'm not going to lie. I think it's more unlikely that they don't. It's likelier they do than they don't, put it that way, which is mad. But so Man City beat them 4-1, dealt with them at the Etihad, played them off the park. And then Arsenal, I believe they beat Chelsea 3-1, so they've had a nice little recovery, and then they come to us. That's enough about Arsenal now. We go into the game in good form. Excuse me. Last 3 games we've won. Tottenham handily, obviously 6-1. Everton 4-1 at Goodison. And then back-to-back home games, which is nice, because we've had a lot of away games back-to-back recently, it feels like. Beat Southampton 3-1, which I missed the video on that, so I do apologise. But then we come to Arsenal. So before I get on to Arsenal, please like, comment, subscribe, press the little ding, the little ring-a-dingers. It would really help, because I've got a couple more new subscribers this month, just through pushing, or the last couple of months, just through pushing it through Facebook, which I don't like to do really, because I'm like, oh, look at me. But I suppose you've got to grow it. I would like to grow it. I love chatting about football, love chatting about Newcastle. So yeah, it would help with the old online views and growing the channel and all this stuff I don't really understand. So please, if you could like and subscribe, that would be class. And I do appreciate it. So starting lineup, a change of tack, but a change, I think the fan base in the main, and I'd be very surprised if there was more than 10%, 15% who disagreed. The main change was up front. I'll get to that in a minute. So it's our standard back 5, Nick Pope, Dan Burn left back, Botman Share, Trippier, then your Joe Linton dropped back into midfield. Sean is still injured, unfortunately. So Joe Linton in the midfield with Willock and Bruno. you would probably say, in terms of just football ability and technical ability, that's probably our best midfield three. I know Sean Longstaff is a fantastic athlete, and he's got a very specific and very important role in the team, and his effectiveness cannot be exaggerated. It's fantastic. What he does is fantastic, and he's crucial to the team, and it shows. Excuse me. The last 2 games we've lost, Sean's not played. Is that as a direct result of Sean not playing? I'm not so sure, because the 2 teams that we played were fabulous on the day, but it's worth mentioning. But in terms of technical ability, particularly on the ball, I think that's our best midfield three. Joe Willock, who impresses me more and more every week. Bruno Guimaraes is the Don, and the man, and Joe Linton's the Don in midfield, isn't he? Now, your front three: Jacob Murphy, the ever-present Mr. Howe's favourite on the right-hand side, Callum Wilson through the middle, and Alexander Isak. Now, I've been saying Isaac, but I saw an interview the other day when he said his own name, and it was Isaac. So I'm going to try and... It sounds so weird after saying Isak for so long, and all the commentators say Isak, but it's Isaac. Out of the man's own mouth, straight from the horse's mouth. So yeah, Isaac and Wilson starting together. I believe, I think, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time they've started a game together, because obviously they played to good effect against Leicester at home earlier on in the season when when Alexander scored the winning goal, obviously away to Brentford recently when Wilson was brought on at half-time, etc. But yeah, both of them started. I was thinking, this is going to be interesting. It's going to give Arsenal something different to think about, because not only is Wilson on fantastic form at the minute, goal scorer, number 9 predator, poacher, etc. Isaac is one of the best forwards we've probably ever had already. I was chatting to my mate Brad, big up Brad T, and I was like, in your time supporting the team, have you seen a better all-round forward? Now, obviously, I've been supporting them for 16, 17 years. So, like I said the other day, from 2006, but properly 2007. So, if I wanted to push it, I could say, I caught the back end of Shearer. Sounds weird. The last few months of Shearer's career. But Shearer then at 36 was nowhere near the player he was at 26, 27, 28, 29, even in his early 30s. He was declining, which is fine. No one's that good. Even Ronaldo and Messi are nowhere near their peaks now, so it's fine. But I was saying, obviously, because Brad's been supporting them longer than me, take Shearer out of the picture. I can't, just go off my time frame. I can't think of a better forward all round. I'm talking the pace, he's now got the physicality to match, the finishing, the touch, the mental toughness he seems to have. Nothing seems to faze him. He's always confident, always takes the ball, he holds the ball up well now. The dribbling ability, and I'm not just saying about that ridiculous display against Everton, but he has, I'm not comparing him to Thierry Henry ability-wise, and a few people online have said this, or slated for it. I'm not saying he's as good as Henry quality, which, let's be honest, he could be. If he carries on like he is, he could get there. But currently, he's not at Henry's level quality, but just the style, the silhouette. If you had a blacked out silhouette of a player, like if you did a blackout silhouette of David Beckham crossing the ball, you'd know immediately who it was, just from the shape of the body, the arm in the air as he swings it before he crosses it. If you did one of Ronaldo, even Ronaldo running with the ball, particularly when he was at Man United, you know exactly what else through that weird sort of straight arms, hands hugging his sleeves running style. You could argue the same for, you know, all at the top. Ronaldinho would be an obvious one. I'd be able to pick out Kaká from anywhere because he was one of my favourite ever players. But if you did that with Isaac, and showed it to a football fan who wasn't familiar with him, or let's say a football fan from 20 years ago, 15 years ago, they might at first glance think that's Thierry Henry. Maybe, because he's got that similar style, that similar casual style about the way he takes the ball. And he just, it's like casual, but everything he does, he makes it look easy. You know, the pace, the way he takes the ball, his first touch, the way he traps it, moves it, the way everything. He's a fabulous player. Absolutely fabulous player. But anyway, that was the starting 11, so it was interesting to see what we would do. Wall Flags have been saying what they're going to do all for a couple of weeks. Bring your scarves. It's the biggest game we've had at SJP for a while now. The Tottenham game should have been the biggest game because obviously they're a direct competitor for top 4. But in terms of the league position of the opponent, obviously Man United were 3rd, I believe, when they came in April. Excuse me. But apart from that, Man City on the 3rd game of the season. So we're on match day 34 now. So it's been a while. Watching it on TV, the atmosphere was red hot. It was not frantic and desperate, but it was everything SJP usually is. It was passionate. It was full of support, full of excitement. And then once that whistle blew, it just went up. The intensity went up a little bit. And we started like a house on fire, my word. I think Isaac had a shot deflected. The first 10 minutes we were up until the penalty claim, we were absolutely all over them, and Arsenal looked a little bit like Tottenham. It's just without the goals going in. They looked like that they were shocked, they were bewildered, they were being battered by the pressure. So Isaac has a shot deflected, then the big one comes. I can't remember who put the cross. I think it's probably Joe Willett because he's that good. Puts the ball in. Jacob Murphy traps it on his chest. Has a little hesitation, whereas in previous years you would have thought, God, he's doing the old Miggy Almiron, the old Jacob Murphy thing where he's like, fuck, I got the ball, I don't know what to do. But he's weighing up his options. He sort of jinks without touching the ball, puts to the ball, and has the confidence because it's the clearer path to goal to take the shot on his left foot, and he hits a lovely strike. Hits it flush, hits it clean, low with his left foot. Boom! Cannons off the post. Oh shit! I genuinely believe, as good as Arsenal and as well as Arsenal played on Sunday, if we'd gone 1-0 up that early, we got them. Because the crowd would have been up even more. I'm not saying we would have been 5 up within 20 odd minutes like we were against Tottenham, but I think we would have been able to strangle them then, and that they may have got swallowed up by the occasion. It would have been, oh my God, here we go again. But let's be honest, let's be frank, we're not letting them come from 2-0 down to come back at us. Then comes the penalty claim. So it was a clever corner routine. I think it was trips to Murphy. Murphy lays it back into trips as he comes down the byline. Lays it off to the edge of the box. Bruno Guimaraes, as he quite often does, in my opinion, scuffs his shot. Does not hit it clean. But then again, he's not that clean in terms of the body shape and technique. He's not that clean striker of the ball that, say, Steven Gerrard or a Paul Scholes, or for us more recently John Joe Shelby, is he has to put a bit more on it, if you know what I mean. It looks like he digs it out more. But anyway, I could have been wrong. It could have been going for the top corner, but I doubt it. It looked like it was a bit of a scuff shot. The referee straight away calls handball. I forget his name. They're number 15. I believe he's a centre half. I don't know. Handball. I'm like, yes, this is exactly what we need. We've just hit the post. We're now going to get a penalty. I believe it was about 9 minutes. Could have been 10, 11. I thought, yeah, this is exactly what we need. My first thought was, who's going to take it, Isaac or Wilson? Because obviously they're both. I think Isaac's taken, 2 or 3 for us this season. Wilson's obviously usually the man on pens. I thought, who's going to take it? But it's going to VAR. I'm thinking, okay, this doesn't sound good. But I've got to say, and as biased and as partisan as I am, I'm glad with the decision. I don't know if glad is the right word. I cannot question the decision, because to me that is VAR working as it should. The ball, it's from fairly close range, smacks against his thigh, and it off his thigh onto his arm. He could not do anything about that. It was off his thigh onto his arm. He wasn't trying to get it with his arm. He wasn't. Yeah. So put it this way: if that was the other way round, I would have been screaming at the TV to disallow it. If that was the other way around and it was given, I don't know what I would have said. So that was a fair decision, but it took the wind out of our sails. It gave Arsenal 2 or 3 minutes to get their breath back, to regroup, to get their heads together, to recover from the onslaught, because we were battering them up until this point. 14th minute comes, Martin Odegaard smashes the ball in from a good 28 yards, low down to the right hand post, Gallagher end down the hill. And you're thinking, on first reflection, you're thinking, well, a lot of people, from what I was seeing online, I turned it off at the end because so many of the positive fans were slating the team. But my first thought was, wow, what a strike. That was like Steven Gerrard-esque. I know Gerrard loved to smash it in the top corner, but he also had quite a few of those low ones, particularly when it was on a slight angle, and that was, well, it was to the right hand side of the box, really. Nick Pope might be disappointed, but it was that clean a strike. There was bodies in the way. I don't think he could have done much. For the rest of the half, I can't remember the chances exactly. I can remember Odegaard having another chance. I remember Martinelli having a couple of chances. For the rest of the half, we don't really threaten much. We have a couple of breaks away. Joe Willock has a very good chance, actually. Isaac plays the ball to Wilson. I think Wilson takes a touch on the turn, slightly overcooks his touch, but Joe Willock, who played the initial ball, did really well by following up his run. There's a gap between the centre half and the fullback. He gets his run right, as he always does, and just cannot apply the finish, which is somewhat the only stumbling block in his career at the minute. He assists fairly regularly. He plays a good at least 7 out of 10 every week, in my opinion, Joe Willock. But he does not score enough goals. And I'm not criticising him, because I think he's fantastic. But that is one improvement. If he's going to step to that next level, that is one improvement. But yeah, that to be honest, if it wasn't for Nick Pope's fantastic goalkeeping, we could have and perhaps should have been 3-0 down at half time. You think, half time comes around, I'm thinking, I believe in this team. I think I put on social media saying Arsenal have had their best 45 minutes in weeks. Newcastle or the Toon have got another couple of gears to go to in the second half. And that is how I felt. I was under no illusions that we are very much playing the team that's been top of the table all season. They were playing really well. They were managing the game well, particularly in the second half. A lot of time wasting, a lot of niggle, a lot of needling the Toon players, which I've got no issue with at all. Partly because I think it's part of the game. It's game management, it's seeing out a win, and you've got the win is most important. Secondly, we've been doing it to everyone else in the season, so we can fucking win. Second half then, my word, we have some chances. My word, we have some chances. Let's try and remember them off the top of my head. Isak, sorry, hits the post. Isak hits the post with a header. It was Jacob Murphy, I believe. A lovely little floated ball on the bar line from the right hand side. Isak comes in and he's stooping for the header, and he hasn't got with that technique. I'm no footballer, but with that technique of header, just from the way his body's positioned as he's coming in, he can only go for one place really, and that's what happens. Hits the post. Fabian Schär has a header saved fantastically. He has two actually. There's one where it goes, the goalkeeper catches it, but I think he could have done better with the header. Then there's another one where I think he gets the header pretty much spot on, and Ramsdale was a fabulous save. And even Gary Neville in commentary was like, wow, what a save. I missed bits of the second half because I was at home on my own with the kids, and my littlest was playing up a bit and was a little bit ill. But I've rewatched the extended highlights, and I've rewatched a little section of the second half. We came on top. We never give in. That was nice to see. Even when Arsenal scored the second through Martinelli, it was an own goal by Fab Schär, wasn't it? Which is unfortunate. A few of our big players had off days. Bruno wasn't at his best. I thought he did okay, but I think Arsenal won the midfield battle. I thought Joelinton was, I don't want to say a shadow of himself, that's a bit harsh, but Joelinton struggled, I thought. The two centre-halves, we got cut open in the first half, especially time again. The Odegaard chance that he didn't score came from Fab Schär completely bottling out of a tackle. And I'm sorry, but that's exactly what happened. I'll call it as I see it, and you don't expect players to be doing that. Perhaps he thought he couldn't tackle him without making a foul. I suppose that's a good enough reason, but I thought Isak was our brightest player going forward. Excuse me. What are the positives? So Nick Pope's performance in the first half, brilliant. Joe Willock, brilliant, I thought. Bar scoring, I thought he did everything right. Isak, fantastic touches with the ball. The positives are, we went toe to toe with the champions, or the wannabe champions. The first half they won, the second half we won, even though they scored a goal in each half. You know, the chances we had in that second half, we could have scored 3 or 4. So it could have been 4-1, could have been 3-1, could have been 1-4. Who knows? Another positive, it was great to see Elliot Anderson get some minutes, Anthony Gordon get some minutes. Lovely to see Maxi back. He came on as a sub. I didn't realise he was going to be fit this soon. But great to see him back. Right, going into work now. Thanks for watching. As I said at the start, please comment, like, comment, subscribe, all that lot. But that's that. I'll speak to you in a bit.